Toastmasters and guests. I want you to imagine this evening that you're going to go out shopping and you're going to look for that perfect pair of jeans. And you've been walking around for a couple hours and you finally find that pair that actually fits. So you go up to the checking counter, you give the customer service agent your jeans, she rings you up, and you hand her your debit card. She swipes it and she politely tells you, "I'm sorry, it was declined." And you say, "No, please run it again." So she runs it again and she says, "I'm sorry, but it was declined." And you say, "No, there must be a problem. Can we try a different machine?" So she rings it up on another machine and she tells you again, "It was declined." And you're standing there puzzled and very embarrassed because you know you have more than enough money to cover the cost of these jeans. But you still don't know what the problem is. Most likely the problem is that maybe you're a victim of credit card fraud. And this is something that happened to me a couple of weeks ago, but luckily for me, I was spared that embarrassment because my bank called me to tell me they thought my account had been compromised. So I looked online and I noticed that there are a few charges that I definitely didn't make. There was a charge at a Nordstrom's Rack in Emeryville for $170 and a charge at a Safeway in Vallejo for $30. And I thought, that's interesting. I definitely was nowhere near those places anytime recently. But what really made me think was how in the world did someone steal my card when it was still in my wallet? But I had heard of things like this before, but I never really gave them too much attention. So I researched, how do people steal your information even though it's still in your possession? And what most people do is they use something called a skimmer. And I have a picture of what a skimmer can look like on an ATM machine. First, there's most likely a camera on top of the PIN pad so people can record your PIN number. And then there's a covering over where you insert your card where it will take a imprint of your magnetic strip. That way they can reproduce the card and have the PIN number and give it to whoever they want, and they can use it and spend it wherever they feel like, whenever they want to, until that card is indeed canceled. But skimmers can be anywhere. They could be on an ATM machine, they could be at a gas station, you can be at a restaurant having lunch, you instantly give your card to the waitress, she leaves, skims your card, brings you your receipt, and you're none the wiser that all your information's been stolen. But it's not only from a skimmer, you can also get your information stolen online through a software called malware. So if you're on a public computer or if you're on a site that has poor security, they can also steal your information. So America has decided that they want to do something about this problem because credit card fraud is getting out of hand. It is said that 25% of credit card transactions are made by Americans, but we account for 50% of credit card fraud. So that's a big imbalance. 25% of transactions, but we have 50% of the fraud. So they decided to get on board with this new chip technology. And I got my first chip card sometime last spring. So I would assume that many of you probably also have gotten your new chip cards as well. But the thing is, the chip card is not new technology. It's actually been around for 30 years already. It was first introduced in France back in 1986, and everyone now in Europe actually uses a chip card rather than scanning their card. And I in fact remember when I lived in South Korea, my debit card there also had a chip back in 2009. But America is just starting to unroll these cards here. And the chip card stands for, I forgot what it's called, EMV, which stands for Europay, MasterCard, and Visa, where these three companies came together to come up with this technology back in the 1980s. But my issue with the chip card is that my information was stolen even though it had a chip on it. because 70% of credit cards now have been replaced with a chip, and about 49% of debit cards have been replaced with a chip. But the problem is many retailers still are not using this technology. About half of the retailers in America have the ability to read a chip card accurately. So I think since I've had my chip card since last spring, I've used it twice. Once at a Target, once at a Hallmark store. Otherwise, I am still swiping my card away, and so this is why my information still was able to get stolen. So the reason why they're saying the chip card is better is because when you swipe your card, the magnetic strip has one single code. So someone can get that code, swipe it, swipe it, swipe it, and swipe it until it's canceled. But the thing with the chip code is that every time you use that chip, there's a new code created. So you could buy something at Target, 10 minutes later go to a Safeway, and there's a whole different code that's been created. However, they say it's not foolproof when making online transactions. So I thought to myself, well, what am I going to do to make sure my information is not stolen again? Because when my information was stolen, they closed my account. I had no access to my money for 5 days until I got a new card, which to me was like a major problem because I rarely deal with cash. So I looked up some things I could do. One thing was when you use an ATM machine or need to input your PIN somewhere, they recommend that you cover it with your hand like this so no one can see your PIN number, no camera can film what you're inputting. Also, it's recommended you never buy anything online from a public computer or from an unverified source that may have poor security. And the third recommendation that I found was that you should use a credit card rather than a debit card, because if there is a fraudulent charge, a credit card will immediately remove it from your account, whereas with the debit card, they need to verify it, and then it will take them several days to actually reimburse you. So until the chip card technology is fully instituted in America, I do recommend that you stay vigilant and stay careful. Otherwise, you may be at that line being rejected. Thank you.